to another American TESOL Presents Free Friday webinars. I'm your hostess, Shelly Sanchez Terrell. We're here every Friday teaching you about some great web tools, apps, and also ideas and tips on instructional strategies for teaching learners of all ages. Now we are just finished with Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming. And in December, there's tons and tons of holidays. There's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa, there's Hanukkah, and other holidays approaching as well. So all over the world, people will be celebrating, and we want to share with you some great ideas. We are here because of AmericanTESOL.com. You can get certifications for teaching English to young learners, teaching business English, teaching TESOL advanced certification, and these are face-to-face and online classes. So you can find out all of this by going to AmericanTESOL.com. Well, the holidays are, and especially December, a really busy season. Some of us will be having breaks pretty soon, which is always great to have a break in the middle of the year, but also can be also a time when students get antsy, and it's a time when students really want to begin, especially with gifts and gift giving, because many of the holidays we talked about do have some form of gift or gift giving. Also, you see a lot of holiday songs, a lot of holiday cooking, gathering together and eating some great holiday meals and traditional meals as well. And then singing different types of songs and maybe even holiday attire. And all of this really makes our students excited. And if we can get our lessons to teach, but also to tap into this motivation, then it makes for our classes to be a lot to run a lot more smoothly, because many times our learners are thinking about the holidays and they don't want to focus so much. So we want to be able to make sure that they do pay attention, and if we want them to do that, then we can go ahead and give them some ideas on how to really be able to do that. So I do think that it's a great time because when you do gifts or you do create gifts, then your learners are able to really be able to read and write in a really meaningful way. So what they're reading and what they're writing and they're creating, even it could be music, is all tied in. The learning isn't only tied into vocabulary, but it's also tied into their history, the history of the holidays. Traditions they can highlight and share that they participate in, and so we can learn more about each other. We can also learn about songs, and songs are great. Last week we talked about ways to teach English with music and songs. But that's also a great way to teach, very motivational, motivating for learners. And then we can also have some other different things we teach students about: decorations. It could be cultural lessons, how different types of cultures and religions celebrate as well. Games, there's different types of learning games. Here's a famous one for Hanukkah that is right in this picture. Symbols, you know what? It's very symbolic what the different symbols mean, and how they demonstrate the holidays. And sometimes, if we have adult students, we can even go into discussions about commercialism and symbols, and what is appropriate, what isn't. And also, there's a lot of things like food and drinks that you can share, and that the students can come and share, and we can all have a big holiday feast together, and that's always a lot of fun as well. I want to start off by by introducing you to one idea on how to get a lot of these ideas together, and also how to inspire your learners. If you're coming up on a break, if you want them to keep learning during the break, or to just keep their minds in tune, you can always create a digital click and learn calendar. That's actually something I just posted about in my blog just a few minutes ago, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. and see the different posts that are there. But with this particular one, what you're using are two tools. You're mixing them together. And what you're doing is you're creating a sort of in the tradition of an advent calendar, but it's a digital advent. And so what you're doing is you're counting down. It's a countdown. And the countdown is leading students to different learning ideas. So in this particular one, this one was a little bit of last year. You can copy my template. I already have a calendar in the Google spreadsheet. So all you have to do is change your header, and then you can make it any way you want. And then each one with ThingLink, you upload, you take a screenshot, you upload it to ThingLink. And when you upload it to ThingLink, you can add these little dots. They come in green and red, which matches well with the holiday calendar. And then each day you can either send students to a different app. It could be an app that they can find very interesting, like creating a digital card with a Bunsy, or here they're sending Santa a text, or they can call Santa Claus, or it could be attached to a writing prompt. Different holiday writing prompts. You can just type it in there, and then the students can go and they can submit it in either their LMS like Edmodo or Schoology or Google Classroom, or they can just turn it into you. They can click this in, and then they can hand in a sheet of paper to you, whatever activity it is. When you create a calendar like this, or you can send them to little tidbits of trivia. You can link it to podcasts, really great YouTube videos where they can learn a video quiz. You can attach it to a video quiz. So there's many different ways that you can inspire learning with the digital click and learn calendar. Your students, you can either grade this and make this part of the learning process, or what you can do is you can really have it to where students can also earn a badge if they do it during the holidays. So let's say the 19th, the 20th, the 20, let's say these are the days that you are not actually in the classroom, but you want them to keep learning, throughout. So when they come back, they'll, their minds will be all ready and opened, and they would have done some learning. So you can award instead a digital badge and make that much more exciting. There are two that you can use with this. I use Google Spreadsheet and ThingLink, but you can definitely use Bunsy as a way, and you can create a calendar that way. Or you can use any kind of, you can actually add the links from within Google itself. There are other ideas that I will share in this post, but before I go on, there are a couple of websites that will give you even more ideas. So there's plenty of ideas for this month to use. One of them is, of course, Librarian. He always collects, and he keeps this updated. So this is a really good site to go and look and find out about Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, and different holidays and the way they're celebrated around the world, depending on the different cultures you want to highlight there. And not only Cyberryman, but of course Larry Ferlazzo has tons and tons of resources for learning about the holidays and everything in general. And here he has one of his best lists of how to learn about Christmas, Hanukkah, and also Kwanzaa. So these are definitely ways that you can, other resources you can check out after this webinar. One of the ones that I really do like about Larry Ferlazzo, not only does he have a best list, but one of the ones that he does have is he has a best list of videos. He has different types of holiday videos, which I think is really great, because now you can always take these videos, and these videos can be a way that you also you can add these videos to that advent calendar. And then he also has different ways that you can also and I will put those links in right now, but he has a lot of ways, a lot of best lists for the different holidays as well. Yes, he has really funny ones like Mr. Bean's, like Antipi was showing right there. So he does have some interesting ones for language learners in general, and they focus on language learners. So I do like that as well. He has plenty of other things as well, like the best resources for Christmas activities. He has some for memory games, Christmas songs, just so many different, activities in general as well. So you not only find the best list of places to learn about Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah, but you also learn about different multimedia as well, which is very helpful. This one is really good as well. This is holiday and Christmas traditions around the world. I used to have some other life binders up, but the other ones aren't as updated anymore as this particular one. I found that this particular one, the holiday traditions around the world, a lot of links still work. And the great thing is that students get to virtually travel and are able to click on the different links. One of the great things about Life Binders that you may not know is if you have a Life Binders account and they are free, then you're able to actually copy the Life Binder. So you could copy this and then you can take your students in your own virtual uh, field trip where they can go and they can actually click. Now, of course, these links, you can turn them into numbers too. And so you can make kind of a digital advent travel calendar here on Life Binders as well. Each tab could be the number. December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and so on and so on. It doesn't have to necessarily look like a calendar to be where they can click. Or you can use many of the links here and add it so that way your calendar could be, for example, a list of different types of virtual trips your students go on to explore different cultures as well. So it could be a calendar full of virtual trips as well. During the holidays is a great time to you can learn the 4 skills. There's reading, there's writing, there's speaking, and listening. And it's a fun way to do that as well, with a lot of meaning. So what are the ways that we can make sure that we address these skills and students are also full of the holiday spirit and doing things that they like? Well, here's one where they can write Christmas letters. Of course, they don't have to write only to Santa. You can make this more accessible, and they could write it to, letters to their parents. They could write letters to the North Pole. They can write letters to a penguin. I mean, to a Christmas tree. So there's different letters that they're writing, and when they do write it, there's one I think also to Rudolph. They can also do that. They can read Santa's blog, so that's another way that they're enhancing their reading skills as well. With this particular site, it's great because they have this in different languages as well. So that's very multicultural. And they can even track Santa Claus. They can listen to Christmas music. So there's a lot of ways that they can read, write, and practice their listening skills all within this one website. What's great is that they actually will receive a letter back if they do email Santa. So that's a really fun activity for students because they love receiving, letters from Santa, and really, what makes a writing activity more exciting is when they get actual response from the activity. So that's really great as well. What you can do is if you do want them to email to certain address, you can make up the address yourself. So let's say that you want to do it to Snowman because you think that that would be better. What I would suggest is create a Google Mail. You could put like, Mr. Snowman 2017 or something like that at Gmail. I'm sure they don't have that, but they might. I mean, you can check. And then when you have that, then students' emails automatically go there. and then you can respond. So that is one way to get a character um, email going. So that's a great way to adapt the activity. Or if you want them to an elf or something like that. So that's another way to do that activity as well. And of course, they can always write to students in other countries. There's many different countries within this webinar itself. So if one of you wanted to get together with another group, you can always write letters to each other's classes and respond to them. And that's always quite great as well. There's also the kidsnationalgeographic.com that has a lot of different videos and images and articles, as well as games that deal with the holidays. They also teach about various different types of holidays, like, for example, the Chinese New Year that is coming up. It's not in December, it's actually between January and February, but it's something to think about even now. But they do talk about winter celebrations around the world, how different people celebrate. I recently discovered, and on the American TESOL blog, we write about this as well. And I'll go ahead and I'll give you the link to that. But we just wrote about different holidays that are in December and how they celebrate. And one of the ones we're going to be coming up with is actually a very scary one. There's a scary, you would think that, all of the holidays in, during December are quite nice and jolly, but that's actually not the case. In some places around the world, they have, for example, in Austria, they celebrate it's called the Nightmare Before Christmas. It's Krampusnacht, and Krampusnacht in Austria is actually this evil monster that comes around and haunts kids that have been naughty. So you can definitely learn about, and it's actually one of the most celebrated holidays, this Krampusnacht. So around the world, they have different celebrations that revolve around this particular time that students can learn about. Students can also learn through gift giving, and that's a great way to be able to practice reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and creativity is for students to create digital gifts for friends and families. The great thing about this is a lot of times students do want to give a gift to their family or peers, and they can't afford it. So ways that you can get them to be able to do this inexpensively but make it very meaningful is that you're able to go ahead and you're able to create a digital gift. One of the ones that I constantly repeat again and again is making a cookbook, and that's because it's very special. Students can create a video of themselves where they're actually cooking and preparing the recipe. They can make family favorites. They can take, and this is actually a really great idea because my sister, every year she has her favorite recipes in the family, and one of them is her favorite biscotti recipe that she's had for many years. And she recently texted us that she's coming from California, but she lost her recipe book. She's not able to find it. So if she would have had a digital version of this would have really kept it in the family for even longer. So I'm hoping she's able to find it. But if not, then the families will really appreciate that every child is taking those family favorites and making a digital version in case anything. Now we have, unfortunately, all over the world, we have natural disasters, we have fires. We never know what's going to happen. But having a digital version published somewhere, Bunsy's really great for this as well. Then you're able to have this digital and even pictures now. You can make a digital scrapbook of all the family pictures, take them, scan them, and your students can make these very meaningful gifts. So that way, if anything happens, then that digital version is there to be able to preserve that their history and their culture. Of course, with the digital book, there's also different skills that are within that. There's reading, there's writing. If they decide to create a video or an audio attached to it, now they can make it multimedia, and they can also integrate listening and speaking skills with that as well. Flip Snack is a great way to do this, to create one of these recipe books. You can easily make it into a PDF that's embeddable. You can download it for offline use as well. So that's really great. A lot of the different web tools you have to be careful of, because sometimes they themselves will disappear. So you want to make sure you get something where you do get a physical version, where you can get, for example, the PDF that you can download to the computer, so that way it's always there as well, not only online, but it's also not only with the tool, but there as a digital copy with a PDF. And so make sure that whatever tool you do use, that you get the PDF version. Issue is another one of my favorites. You can see here how they've made a very fancy, nice a digital book here, recipe book. They have beautiful pictures. They have the different types of measurements, and that's the other great thing, is that you can teach specific language as well. When you make cookbooks, you learn about measurements. You learn about, here's a teaspoon of this, the calculations that are sometimes very tough to teach. We need a pinch of this, we need a tablespoon of that, and what goes with what. We need a cup of flour versus, we need so what kind of measurement is appropriate for that type of ingredient is also very important. Book Creator is another really great one, especially if you work in a more high-tech environment, and also if you work in a mobile learning capacity as well. They have a lot of great templates. You can even make now comic books with Book Creator, and so Book Creator is really awesome. Your students can go ahead and they can sew things. They can make Santa hats. They can make stockings for the house. And all of this teaches very simple language, how to follow instructions, how to read instructions. And then if they make their own patterns, then how to give instructions, how to measure. All of this are great skills for our language learners. This is also great skills on not only learning language, but ways to also, in an active way, but also how to learn math as well, and measuring, which is always nice. Redstamp.com and sincerelyinc.com. Both of them are great. I tend to like Redstamp. A little bit bad. It's multiple devices. devices. But you can see how red stamp has different templates. You can upload your own pictures. This is to send a virtual card. It looks like a greeting card, except it's sent virtually. And one of the great things about this is that you're able to choose from a different types of holidays. So not only do they have templates for Christmas, like a lot of other sites, but they also have templates for Hanukkah. I believe they also have some for Kwanzaa as well. Bunsey is great. They're full of holiday stickers. Now students can use digital avatars instead of their own faces. You can create a video. You can include a podcast. You can use templates. You can use their clip art. They have so much within Bunsey that's really great for any holiday. So it's really a go-to app for creating a holiday book, a holiday presentation. You can create an interactive digital scrapbook. When we talked about preserving memories, Bunsey is great for that. Bunsey is also really great for if you're creating a song book or a lyrics book, or even if you're creating like a finger chant, anything like that. Bunsey is really great for, and the digital camera as well. So a digital calendar as well. So here you can see one for Hanukkah and how they have clip art related to Hanukkah as well. So they have different clip art and animated pictures and templates all for the different holidays. So that makes it much easier to create a greeting or any of those things from that. And Peggy George has mentioned that on December the 9th, you can learn more about Edgy from a great presenter, Shannon Miller, who will talk about, and actually who's the one who recently wrote about the new holiday stickers in Bunsey. Some of my other favorite apps that I enjoy a lot as well for creating, if you want to do something really quick, there's always Photo Babble. I have about 3 or 4 different types of Photo Babbles that I've created with Roscoe, my pug. Now I tend to use Yakit, so I don't have any more recent ones, but it has very simple template, green, red, and then you use your own voice to make meaning behind the picture. You can say thank you or happy holidays, um, sing a song, say a greeting. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a happy holiday. And that could be a virtual greeting. Your students practice their speaking skills. There's 30 Hands, which is interactive slideshow, a lot like Magisto. Magisto is another one that I don't have on here, but is really great as well. But 30 Hands is an education version. There's Elf Yourself, which is a jib jab, really funny video. It has not as much language practice as the other apps, but it's good. Talking Santas and Talking Gingerbread Man, Talking Snowman, Talking Reindeer. Just look that up in your iOS or your Android, and you'll find plenty of these apps. There's tons of them out there for Christmas time. There's a Gremlin as well. So every year they change them. My suggestion is to look it up: Talking Snowman, Talking Reindeer, Talking Santa, and you'll find it in your version. Here's some other ones as well. Pick Collage is really great. Image Chef, Avery, all of those for making holiday greeting images to make images